Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, July 27. The Andrew Holness-led administration is moving to make the right to secondary education explicit in law. In a statement to Parliament yesterday, the Prime Minister announced that the Education Minister would be reviewing existing legislation to make it illegal for any child to be denied a right to secondary education.
This government believes that education must be compulsory between the ages of your 3rd and 18th birthday.
Schools will meanwhile be subject to increased monitoring and surveillance by the Education Ministry as they are held accountable for the provision of core services. And all schools that receive public funds will be subject to audit by the Auditor General.
The Auditor General can't audit all the schools, but the Auditor General, I've given the directive through the Minister of Education, should now start to look directly at taking sample audits of schools to ensure that when we are increasing public resources into the education system, that the public can be guaranteed value for money.
For its part, Mr. Holness says government will keep its commitment to the removal of auxiliary fees and increased funding to high schools. In the 2016-2017 academic year, schools will get $5.3 billion to fund their services, up from $2.6 billion. It includes an increase from $11,500 to $19,000 provided for each child in high school. The Prime Minister says guidelines have been implemented for non-mandatory contributions by parents, which should only apply to co-curricular, sports, and special school development initiatives.
Whether the school, Mr. Speaker, is a traditional school or a non-traditional school, contributions are optional. And no student can be denied access to attend schools.
Approximately 251,800 Jamaicans benefited from the first phase of government's income tax relief policy, which took effect this month. Finance Minister Audley Shaw made a report on the implementation of the tax plan in a statement to Parliament yesterday.
This shift towards indirect taxes away from direct taxes, such as personal income tax, is consistent with global trends and enhances economic growth.
Effective this month, the personal income tax threshold increased from $592,800 to $1,272,000. It will further move to $1.5 million on April 1, 2017. Minister Shaw urged workers to spend the extra money responsibly and ramp up production.
This phase of tax reform is a signal to the Jamaican people that this government wants to put back more into their pockets. And in putting back more into their pockets, Mr. Speaker, we are expecting in return higher levels of personal productivity at the workplace.
The capacity of the ear, nose and throat ENT department at the Mandeville Regional Hospital has been boosted. The non-profit organization Manchester Wellness Foundation recently donated clinical equipment to enable emergency and surgical intervention for adults. Among other things, it means persons needing surgeries to remove foreign objects from the esophagus no longer need to be transferred to hospitals in Kingston.
We have there 5 bits of equipment, 3 suction aspirators and 2 biopsy forceps, which will be used during the process of what we call rigid esophagoscopy. And I will tell you with no exaggeration that these 5 bits of equipment are going to save countless lives.
The donations are part of Phase 1 of the support from the Manchester Wellness Foundation. In the second phase, equipment will be provided to address the needs of pediatric patients. Government will be relaunching its program to recognize tourism workers who have given excellent service. The National Tourism Service Excellence Program, TSEP, was disbanded in 2008. But Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says former Director General Carol Guntley has been assigned to revive the program and make it an annual event,
so that we can show off the best of the workers in the tourist industry and reward you for the good job that you have been doing.
Minister Bartlett was speaking recently at a staff awards function at the Bahia Principe Hotel. He said TSEP would be relaunched this November. And finally, the Randy Williams Entertainment Center in St. Andrew will be transformed into an independence village from August 1 to 6 with a variety of options for family entertainment. Executive Director of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, Dr. Delroy Gordon, is encouraging parents and guardians to bring their children to the village for the 54th independence celebrations.
We have a kiddies village. We have what we call Picnipendence, and Picnipendence is really a concept that in a way in which children can understand and appreciate the meaning and the significance of independence.
Dr. Gordon was speaking at a JIS think tank last Friday. He said a number of private sector entities, ministries and agencies of government would be offering services. Other activities at the Independence Village will include the Auntie Rochi Literary Festival, Meloga Round, World Reggae Dance Championship and the Reggae to Rio concert, which will feature some of Jamaica's reggae icons, while allowing patrons to watch the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Rio, Brazil. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.